Buckle up, excellence junkies, because this podcast is definitely for you. Welcome to Rocket Fuel. Do you wish that you could surround yourself with people that love to kick ass just like you? Well, come to my party, baby, and meet some of the brightest stars in the entrepreneurial galaxy, because it is my mission to give these entrepreneurs a platform to declare what they are on this planet to accomplish and to show you why they are rocket fuel. I am so excited, guys, my dear Rocketeers. We are in season 2 and we are on fire because we have some amazing guests today. What I want you to do is stop and think. If you are one of those people like me that are starting to feel the joint pain, right? But what I'm talking about, folks, that you know, either you've heard that you need surgery, you're afraid that you probably need surgery, and you're recognizing that there are changes in the things that you can do as a result of your joints. I mean, it's commonly your shoulders, your knees, etc. Well, you need to listen up, because today we have Dr. Grazyna and Tony Pajunen. They're the founders of Beauty and Health from Within, and they're going to talk about a solution that actually allows us to potentially avoid surgery when we have some major mobility issues with our joints. So this is important. If you're one of those people, please listen up, because this is truly rocket fuel. Guys, I am very appreciative, one, that I met you and that I got to hear your story, but that you joined us today. Tell us a little bit about how you even stumbled into this world of trying to solve the problem of joint pain.
Well, the reason was because my husband had a major issue with his shoulder. He was unable to lift this arm at all without the help of the other arm. And the doctors told him that he absolutely needs a total reverse joint replacement, that surgery will not solve the problem.
Oh.
So, and he was okay with this. However, he loved water skiing. He loves being active in sports. And the doctor said, oh, no. After this, you have to quit water skiing. And he was not ready. So
I don't think any of us are ready for somebody to say, oh, no. I mean, because I hate to say it, essentially they're saying, you're too old. Like, that's what it feels like. Oh, you're too old. You can't do that anymore. And
that's exactly how it felt. He felt like his life will finish. So he said, no, I'd rather live with this pain, it doesn't matter. And, but fortunately we found that method through our neighbor, and that solve his problem. So after about 3 months, the first month it didn't work. The second month it was little more hurting, and that's okay. And the third month he just started moving his arm, and then after a few other months he was ready to push-ups, water skiing, and doing everything. And he told me, I have a brand new shoulder. And since I am a scientist, he came back to me and he said, listen, look into that, because that what happened to me is a pure miracle. That's how it all started.
Interesting. So literally your neighbor, so this solution, was it like an oral solution? Was it IV? Like what?
Nutraceutical, but it was combination we developed, because it was nutraceutical that actually you drink and it's absorbed directly from under your tongue to your cells of your body. And you saturate your body with this nutraceutical. And then what happens is it starts rebuilding synovial fluid in your joints. And then it starts duplicates or regenerate the cartridge. So that's how it works.
Wow. Okay. So we're going to get into that more in a second. So Tony, how did you get involved in this
Yeah, so I was studying to be a health coach. I was in nutrition school at the time, and my stepdad pulled me aside, sat me down in his office, and he's like, "Tony, what this did for me is a miracle." And he's this no nonsense guy. He was in the CIA. Like he doesn't believe in anything.
He's not
Right?
a woo woo sort of.
No, and he still to this day is not. Like he doesn't believe in chakras, auras, nothing. And so for him to sit me down and be like, this changed my life, this is a miracle, I was interested, to say the least. For me, I didn't even, when you're 27 years old, you don't even think about joint problems, right? You're like, right. What is a joint problem? But I saw that he was like, Tony, I couldn't do this with my arm. Like I couldn't raise it. And, this wasn't possible for me 6 months ago. And now it is. You need to look into this, because what it did for me is pretty much a miracle. So
wow.
Yeah. And I was this guy who was like, okay, food can do anything, right? Anything that you can do, because I'm, nutritionist, right? So like food is, I thought, was the answer for everything. And that was what confused me at first, because I was like, well, then why can't he just eat something or take bone broth or all this stuff that people do? Why couldn't he have just done that? And that's the discovery that I made of why you can't get these results through eating well or exercising, because there are so many things that need to be correct in order for something like this to work. It's literally like a key that fits into a lock. And if anything is wrong with that key, that lock's not going to open. And so I really learned a lot through this process. And one of my favorite stories is, now that I've been working with this for so many years, one person came to me and they said, Tony, if I could just go to the gym again, I would be so happy, because my shoulder is so damaged. Yeah. And not only was he able to go back to the gym after having worked with me, but he actually won the world record in weightlifting for his age group.
He was like,
yeah, I mean, these are the things that people, I just wish.
And the doctor said it's impossible.
Of course,
right.
They were pushing him for all sorts of things that he didn't want to go through, the procedures and this, because that wouldn't have helped him win a world record anyway. I mean, that would have ended his weightlifting career. Yeah. And I have massage therapists who I've saved their careers because their hands were going and they can work again. But so I just want people to really open their mind to that possibility, that it's a lot of times people have made the decision a long time ago that their joints are just going to hurt. And there's nothing that they can do about it. And it's because they've tried everything. They've tried all the pills and the potions and the exercises and the foods, the bone broths and nothing, the glucosamines and all that stuff from the health food store. So they've already made up their minds that this is just the way my life is going to be, period. And I'm here to tell you that it's possible to actually not just slightly benefit your joints, you feel a little bit better, but actually completely eliminate your joint discomfort to the point where you can walk up the stairs again. You can go play your favorite sport again. You can literally get your life back. I mean, a guy I know, he could play soccer on the beach with his son for the first time, that he hadn't been able to do that, where the doctors were all pushing him for knee replacement. He didn't want them. He never had to get them. So that's what's possible with this. And that's just, if I have anything to share with you today, is that the possibility that so many people have closed their mind to is actually there.
Yeah.
It's possible for people.
So, along that line, just for a moment, because I feel like I want to go back to the experience of your stepfather and of your husband. And get to understanding how somebody who is not into the woo miracle cures, whatever, right? Why did he decide to even give this thing a try that his neighbor asked? Because I think it's important for people that are listening, right? They're going to be going through the same process, right? Of like, why should I even give it a try? So can you describe a little bit more what his thought process was?
Well, his thought, first of all, he started studying it. And he didn't believe. He said, doctor told me that I cannot do it for sure. It will not work. But he was like put in a corner because his discomfort and pain became so substantial that he had to take painkillers. He was not able, and he realized that painkillers destroy his body. So he's smart. So he knew that on a continuous basis, if you start taking them, you don't end up well. So,
well, I mean, the issue is masking, right? So like the medication is just masking the pain, but it's not addressing what's causing it.
It's actually more than that, because imagine if you don't feel any more pain, then you can damage your joint even more. So it is actually very, very, very dangerous. It is like driving a car and you don't have an oil, and you cover the sensor that shows that there is no oil, and you keep driving how far you can drive. And the same,
and you're like, woohoo! And meanwhile, you're wrecking the whole thing.
I know. Yeah. But let me tell you still about this neighbor, because that is a very interesting story. The neighbor who came to us, she was born with arthritis, basically, and the family has a lot of money, so they tried absolutely everything what is offered on the market to stop that progressing of that problem. And nothing really, they slowed down, but they couldn't stop it. So she already had both hips replaced, and she was sitting on a wheelchair, where her massage therapist told her about this nutraceutical. He said, I have so many clients that I have great results, maybe you try it. And she said, well, it doesn't have side effects, give it to me. I don't believe it can work. I tried everything on the market. So she tried, and she was shocked, because she was already sitting on the wheelchair waiting for the knee replacements. So she was shocked, like after 4 months or something like this, 4 or 5 months of taking it, suddenly she canceled her knee replacement. And she was starting to walk again, which she couldn't do for many, many, many years. And so she came to my husband, and my husband saw her. So he already knew that it's kind of possible for her. You know? So, and she said, listen, Alan, this is the only thing that helped me. You have to try it. He was very skeptical. Oh my God, he was very skeptical. But he said, you know what? It's only money. Let me just try it. I prove to you it's
at this point, he's just like, okay, and I'm living with pain and painkillers. The alternative is the replacement, but even with the replacement, it's not going to regain the mobility and the things that I love to do. And then I have to go through the whole experience of recovering from surgery. So I can imagine that. Okay, so that's really important to kind of understand the situation where they're like, you know what, I'm gonna try this. So I have a doctorate in pharmacy. I don't know if you guys know that, but so I do want to get deeper into the science of it, but I know that we're not going to have enough time. So I do want to share with our listeners this great resource that you put together. And everybody that's listening, my dear Rocketeers, know that we offer a value bomb along with every one of these episodes, because if this is something that it's inspiring to you, I want to inspire you into action. Okay. I don't want you to just listen to this and then just say, that's interesting, I have to look into it later. No. Especially if you're in pain. So the way you can get this resource is to text RF for Rocket Fuel REGAIN, REGAIN, to 411-321 if you're in the US. The number is 411-321. The message is RF-REGAIN. If we ask you for your email address, make sure to drop it in there, because in your email inbox instantly you'll receive the secret. I like to call it the scientific secret of how to stay healthy, active, and discomfort-free without surgery or medication. But what I love about this resource is that you really dig deeper into the science. And this is important, guys, because I know from my healthcare world that when you're making medical health decisions, it's important for you to really research and understand, right? Because if you research and understand, you will stay more dedicated and compliant to whatever it is that you commit to, okay? So this is my little nerdy hat that I'm putting on here, right? But I think it's really important that you we could start talking to people about the science, but it's understandable that you're going to want to sit and look at it just as your husband did, right? And say like, wait, what is this, right? So if you text RF-REGAIN, right, then you're going to receive to 411-321, you're going to receive this resource. Obviously, if you're outside of the US, we love you. We don't want you to miss out. So you can actually text or use WhatsApp and text RF-REGAIN to 1-909-741-1321. That's 1-909-741-1321. This will also be in the show notes. So we're going to continue the conversation. I'll share it one more time at the end of the episode. But I'm going to keep this up for us for a moment. While that's up, so let me kind of try and distill down the science that you mentioned, Doctor. So we're basically talking about our bodies eventually drying up, and some people dry up earlier in life versus later, right?
And this is what you should understand. What is exactly the reason that our joint starts to hurt?
Yes.
Have you ever thought about it? Why this is happening? Why some people can live in some places in the world when they never have this problem? And the reason is the degeneration of connective tissue. So what does it mean? How does it show? Wrinkles. How does it show? Drying of synovial fluid. How does it show? Problems with your eyes, with your gums, with your hair, with your nails, with everything.
So I want to point out synovial fluid, just because if you're listening and you're not seeing Dr. Grazyna actually show point to her shoulder. I mean, this synovial fluid is basically kind of like the cushion between our joints, right?
Correct. And so, it's not only in the joints, it's also inside in your back. That's why
like our spine. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's why we shrink. I'm already.
98% of our eye is actually these components as well. So it's good for your eye health. There's so much that when you give your body back these things that it's been losing, you're actually able to rebuild. We lose these things about 10% every 10 years as we get older. And there used to be no good way of getting them back. No matter how much you exercise, no matter how much you eat the bone broth or the whatever, once you lost it, you had to cope with what you had left. But now we're actually able to get it back for the first time. And not just a little bit, but transformatively, radically, where we're actually able to really rebuild our body from the inside out. And all of our connective tissue is affected by this. So people, not only do they get better joints, but they look better. I know people who look better today than they did 10 years ago. And I mean, the pictures are amazing. The difference in their health overall is profound.
So this kind of makes sense, because if you're talking about this essentially like a rehydration, an internal rehydration process, then, I mean, even though you're looking at it for your joint health, then you're going to see it in other aspects of your body.
And what is very important is that the body can rebuild itself. The body is rebuilding itself. We are getting new cells all the time, but we need to provide the right components, the right raw material, so to speak, so that the body can rebuild itself. And if we do, and a very important thing, some people say, oh, I'm taking collagen, I can do it. No, if this is going through your stomach, it's being destroyed in your through your acids in your stomach, and it's not going to work.
Okay. So this is I wanted to get into this as well, right? Like having the pharmacy background. So one, does this have something to do with hyaluronic acid?
Absolutely.
That's exactly what's important, but it's not only because people, it's a buzzword today. And people think, oh, I'm going to store and buy hyaluronic acid, or I'm going to. No, there are several things which have to work together. Number one, the proportions. I mean, we have this source, natural source, that has those components which are in connective tissues, three main components: collagen, hyaluronic acid, chondroitin sulfate, and exactly the same proportions as in our body. So this is bioidentical with our body. That's extremely important. You cannot be even allergic to it because it's exactly what you have. And we lose and we get it back. Number one. But number two is the size of the molecule. In every product on the market, everyone, including cosmetics, where you have hyaluronic acid, the molecule is about 300 kilodaltons, where the absorption rate is between 1.5 and 2.5. So the basketball doesn't go through a fishing net. It's not going to be absorbable.
So when you're putting it on your face,
it stays there.
It just okay. So because like I use it on products and I'm like, oh, I see some level of benefit, but it's just there.
It's a cover up. It's just going to make your skin look.
And it goes.
Yeah, it's just going to make your skin look better while it's on there. But once you wash it off, your skin is going to be your skin the way it was before you put it on. This actually changes the dermis, and we went from, this is the big thing, is that we went from not being able to increase our hyaluronic acid levels in our body, no matter how much the health food store stuff we ate or put it on our skin or whatever. We went from not being able to increase it at all to now being able to increase it 6,000% in the bloodstream in 28 days.
Mm-hmm.
That is
so it's measurable in the bloodstream.
Absolutely. And that used to be impossible. We couldn't. That's why it had to be, even the injections that people would get with the Synvisc into their joints, that's just a big molecule that didn't really get incorporated into the connective tissue. It just kind of sat there and the body got rid of it. Yeah. So this is why it's so transformative, because literally we're giving people back this 6,000% increase. And in that, we're actually, the body is now able to function in a way that it wasn't able to before. And so a lot of it, but if it was just HA, it's kind of like HA alone is like trying to bake a cake with only flour. Same with collagen alone. You don't, and also if you have too many eggs, you have too much flour, too little salt, it's not going to make the cake. It's not going to taste like a cake. You have to have everything in the right proportion, in the right molecule size, and in the right balance in order for everything to work like a key that fits into a lock.
And also, it is the hydration is so important. People learn that they have to drink a lot of water, and that's absolutely correct. But they don't know that each molecule of hyaluronic acid holds up to 1,000% of each wave of water. So if they don't have hyaluronic acid, and I tell you, by the age of 60, they almost don't have it. So no matter how much water they drink, it just goes right through them and doesn't hydrate the body. And without hydration, other medical problems can appear.
So, okay, so this is interesting. It's almost like they're little sponges, right?
Exactly.
So like they're floating, and now your sponges are all dried up, or they're broken and brittle or whatever. So the water's passing by, but they're not holding on to it. And that's why.
That's exactly how it works. So bringing back this whole, rebuilding this connective tissue in your body, it's critical. But adjusting your lifestyle, so that you don't lose it so much anymore, that you don't activate this enzyme hyaluronidase that kills your hyaluronic acid and other stuff that's in addition in order to make the whole thing work.
So this is so you're saying, I mean, as with many other things, it's like, okay, well, if you take the supplement, the nutraceutical itself, that's one thing. But just as in medicine, right, you need to kind of understand the entire process, change your lifestyle, change certain behavior so that every one of those elements is actually optimized, or you're not shooting yourself in the foot basically by doing something that hurts what your mission is.
Like for example, drinking Coke. Drinking Coke and taking nutraceutical, they just
right, exactly. You're dehydrating yourself, and then you're right.
Yeah, because there's so many nasty ingredients that are bad for you in something like Coca-Cola. Unfortunately, I mean, it just is the facts. So, it's that's really a good point though, because there are so many people who, they unless they are coached into understanding how this process works, it's very difficult for them to see the results that they can actually get otherwise. So what we're here to do as well, that's why it's great if you were to, book a call with us to talk to us, because we're so important in this process of people actually seeing the benefit, not just a little bit, but radical transformations.
Yeah.
And those radical transformations come with understanding and with our coaching. If we're not there involved, it's a whole different experience, and people don't get the same kinds of benefits. So that's why we're very, very important to this process. If you don't book a call with us and you think that it's, I'm just going to take something and it benefit, you're really not going to really get the full potential of these radical. See, that's why I wanted to start with it's not just a little bit better. You can get a little bit better with a lot of stuff. We're here to completely transform your entire life and your health. That's what we're here to do. So we have so many clients who've been so grateful and appreciative that we've been able to help them, because they've even tried things that did help a little bit, and yet they couldn't walk up the stairs. They couldn't do these things, and now they feel like they have a brand new lease on life.
Yeah, they may help a little bit and it comes back.
Yeah.
But this one, the more we work together, the better you feel. It doesn't come back. That's
so one thing I wanted to clarify, because I think you kind of mentioned it lightly. So how you take it is actually sublingual. So is that correct? Because you mentioned something about
absolutely.
And so that kind of brings it all together and saying, like, it's not something that you ingest, because then your stomach acids are going to destroy it. If you put something sublingual, just to kind of explain to the audience, then it goes right into your bloodstream, because you have a lot of blood vessels underneath your tongue. So that's why, for example, like with heart attack medication, nitroglycerin, if you want something to happen fast and go right into your bloodstream, they give you sublingual nitroglycerin, so it goes right into your bloodstream. So it makes sense that you were mentioning how taking treatment orally is going to just break it down. How when we put it on our face, it just helps right here in the surface, but it's not actually structurally changing anything. And so you want to get that right combination reintroduced into your body so you can regain that stuff. And the best way to do it is, either they would inject it or you could simply just put it under your tongue. Now, is it a liquid or is it a tablet? What does that mean?
It's a liquid, and it's important. One more thing for people to understand, that it is not instant. They have to be patient. They need to take it, give themselves time to rebuild it. The body needs to saturate. You take it from here regularly, morning and night. Very important, because it stays in your body for 12 hours. So you have to take it regularly, morning and night, saturate your body, and then it finds the places when it needs the most. Sometimes eyes are first. Actually, that's true. If people have dry eye, they will see results almost instantly, because it starts hydrating. Your gums. A lot of people cancel gum surgery. The hair is so much stronger. Nails, everything. And just tell you one more amazing example. We had a person who had problems for 28 years with her lower back. And her doctors were preparing her or moving, that she will absolutely need wheelchair. So she started rebuilding her house, to get ready for the wheelchair so that she would be able to move there. She started working with us. It took her 1 year, but after 1 year, everything released. She doesn't need any pills anymore. She doesn't need wheelchair, nothing. But believe me, it was so hard for us to keep her 1 year, because even 8 months after,
she was feeling better.
Yeah. So basically, the bottom line is, if she didn't work with us, she wouldn't have gotten the results.
Right, because it's so easy to say, oh, I put in this money and a month in, I'm not seeing anything.
Yeah, and I'm telling you right now, if we were to just sell you stuff to take and we didn't work with you, people wouldn't get the kinds of results that I know are possible for people. That's the most important thing. If you want truly transformative results, you really want to just talk to us and work with us, because so many people just think, oh, I want to try it, whatever it is, just give it to me and I'll take it and whatever, and I'll be done with it. But really with this, take my word for it. The people who try to do that, they end up disappointed. They end up thinking, oh, well, I didn't get the results that I wanted. This really wasn't really what I had expected, this, that, the other, because they thought that they could do it on their own, where it's kind of like doing a lot of things. Like, if you don't have somebody there to guide you and you go try to do something, you're probably not going to get very far without something going. And then you think, oh, well, I couldn't do it, and this, that, the other. So that's the most important thing. We just want people to know that there are options for them that are not just slight benefits, but they're transformative. And we have seen it. We have seen people actually get out of a wheelchair, go cook dinner for their family. For us, they were so grateful they invited us to dinner. They finally could cook for the first time. Man. These kinds of things, if you even were to ask them, like, do you think that would be possible? Unless we coached them into like understanding that it's even a possibility for them, they wouldn't have believed it. So,
So what I want to do is, because we are running out of time, actually we're just a little bit over time, but I want to reiterate, what you said. The whole spirit of the Rocket Fuel podcast and my mission is to encourage people to connect with experts to actually help them bust out of the problem, the mediocrity, the issues that they have, right? Because I personally believe and have many stories related to the benefit of actually connecting with an expert and getting that support, especially when something is really, really hard or needs a journey in order to get through it, right? It's so easy for us to just be like, oh, it doesn't work, or it doesn't work for me, and do all of that stuff. And so that's why I invited you guys, because I love the idea that it was not only about the identification, that discovery of the nutraceutical, but the fact that you guys recognize that in order for people to truly get the results that you knew that they can get, then they needed your support as well. And so, guys, if this resonates with you at all, I want you to take the time to dig into the science a little bit more, obviously, but text RF-REGAIN, REGAIN, to 411321 if you're in the US. And they put together this great guide on how to understand how to stay healthy and active and discomfort-free without surgery or medication, right? That's going to be the core of the information. And obviously, once again, if you're outside of the US, you can either text or use WhatsApp to 1-909-741-1321. And the catchword is RF-REGAIN. I want to thank you guys so much. I mean, we could go on and on. This was like a bonus to truly understand the science behind it, because it's more than mobility, which is fantastic. But I also want to commend you on taking the time and effort to recognize something, but then to package it with the support that's actually going to deliver results. I think that's really, really important.
Thank you so very much for letting us to share with people and we are here to serve. So if anybody needs help, we are just get in touch with us, and we are in helping people for 10 years with great results, and we can help you as well. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. And I want to remind you guys that when you do text, actually a fantastic gift is you actually get the opportunity to get on the calendar of the Pajunens, right? and talk through it. So they're going to invite you to a discovery call. I'm sure you have a lot of questions. You may read what you have in that value bomb, but then you may just say, look, I just need to kind of talk about my situation. Do you think, do I have risks, et cetera, right? It's better just to speak to them directly. And I thank you, because I'm sure you're very busy, but I thank you for giving our audience the opportunity to get on your calendar and to talk.
It's our pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome. And with that, I hope all of you Rocketeers have a rockin' day. Bye now. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. Look, every one of our episodes is boosted by a value-packed keyword called a catchword. Yeah. This allows our audiences to text to receive even more value from our guests. So take advantage of that great value. And if you share your expertise by guesting on podcasts or TV or speaking in front of live or digital audiences, then you're leaving anonymous fans behind. So go get a catchword at catchwords.com, KETCH words.com, and use podcast20 as a promo code for 20% off your setup fee. Look, make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the Rocket Fuel podcast so you never miss your jolt of rocket fuel. Until next time,